Are you an artist or someone who's super excited to express your creativity? Well, let me introduce you to Art Easy. The owner here has created such a welcoming environment for people to come in, do some drop-in art, take a class, join an event, send their kids to camps, and there's even a gallery. So let's go inside and meet Anne-Marie. As a busy mom, realtor, and someone who just likes to have fun, I'm always on the go around Baltimore. Whether you're new to the area or you've lived here your whole life, I want to show you my favorite places to eat, play, and live around 21230. I'm Ali Hudler with Compass, and this is the 21230 show. Here we are at Art Easy with Anne-Marie. So Anne-Marie, thank you so much for having us today.
Thank you for being here.
Of course, I'm so excited. It was so great to meet you at the FSK Holiday Extravaganza.
Yes.
She had a table there, such cute artwork for the kids to do, and she was just starting to share how Art Easy became to be. So tell us more how you got started.
Yeah, so that event at FSK was really the first event I did after deciding an opening date for the studio. So that was my first promotional event. But before that, actually, I started the business in 2021, September, with one of my best friends from growing up who we got disconnected.
Yeah.
She started doing entrepreneurial things. I felt like I wanted to do something and reached out to her, and we kind of just pulled this together.
Awesome.
During the midst of the pandemic. A crazy time to start a business, but
yeah.
we just went for it. We started in our hometown in Cheverly, Maryland, which is in Prince George's County, just outside of DC. And it was really small, a residential basement apartment.
Okay.
We rented it out, one room, transformed it into a workspace, and we had mostly classes for kids and then some adult classes as well, private events, and it kind of grew from there.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Baltimore.
Okay.
And so the business moved with me.
Yeah.
We were struggling to find a commercial space in Prince George's County that would work for us. And then I moved to this neighborhood. I started doing markets at the Museum of Industry Farmers Market. And it just kind of rolled from there.
Yeah.
I walked by this spot one day, saw it was for lease, and jumped on it.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Nice. And where does your background in art come from?
So I actually went to school for engineering in Atlanta at Georgia Tech.
Wow.
So yeah,
that's
growing up,
to get into.
I kind of dabbled in art. You know, there was art classes. I did theater camps with my friend, but I was always really much more math and science nerd.
Sure.
So when I decided to go to college, I went to engineering. I majored in biomedical engineering.
Oh my gosh.
And but I really struggled to kind of find my place at Georgia Tech. Tried a bunch of clubs, none of them really worked out. It's the South, it was big fraternity, Greek life, and that wasn't for me. So then I went and found a job and looked at the student center. There was a posting for the art studio on campus.
Cool.
And I was like, I should go visit before applying. Was so scared, would not do it. I was like, I'm not an artist. I can't go in there unless I have something in mind that I'm gonna do. And I didn't. And so then I actually interviewed for the job, got it, and then went into the studio for the first time.
Wow.
And I loved it, and it became my home for the rest of my time at Georgia Tech. So anyway, jump forward, I graduated, I moved back up here, and I wanted to find a place where I could do art without being a serious professional, committed artist, or without spending another rent to find a studio space.
Right.
And I couldn't find anything in the DC area, and that really upset me. So COVID happened, I started doing more and more art in my tiny one-bedroom apartment with my husband, my 2 dogs, and my 2 cats, and he was like, this is not sustainable, you should find a studio space. And I was like, what if I start one? So that was kind of how I got into it. But back to like where I get my love for art from. While I was at the studio in Atlanta, I really got into clay. And clay was just, that was my medium. So I tell people all the time, they're like, I'm not an artist. I'm like, you probably are, you just haven't found your medium yet.
Right.
And that's where I found clay. And I've just never stopped doing clay since then.
That is so cool. When did you open the space here?
So our grand opening was January 25th. So at this point, we've been open only 3 months or so. We had a soft opening in December. We did a couple of camps over winter break, but kind of gearing up to this big opening January 25th. So it's only been 3 months.
Yay! Well, congrats. It's so bright and airy in here, very welcoming. And tell us about this space here.
So right now we're standing just inside the entrance of the studio. We have these beautiful shop windows, and they let in all this natural light into our storefront area. So the storefront has gallery hanging systems on both sides where we'll feature rotating artist display. Some of these works are for sale, others are just for show. And then we have as well in the storefront prints, little pottery stuff, some jewelry, magnets, stickers, lots of different pieces of art from local Baltimore artists that you can come in and buy. So the idea of this front space is really to promote and support Baltimore artists in the South Baltimore community.
That's good. And a lot of artists will bring their artwork in, but some have created their art here, is that right?
Yeah, so the vision is that this is a place where you can kind of do it all as an artist. Where you can come here to make your art, come here to work on your art. We have a little seating area and some Wi-Fi that you can use if you just need somewhere to sit down and do those administrative tasks as an artist that's hard to motivate yourself to do at home. And then we also allow artists to do guest workshops. So if they want to teach their art as well, this is a place they can do that. And then of course, they can show their art or display it in the shop for sales.
That's so nice. Well, is there anything else you want to tell us about the front of the house here, or do you want to get to the back and show us where you can create?
No, I think that's the gist. We also have a little library of lots of art books that have been donated, or some from the Book Escape that are how-to books or history books. So if you come in and you want to try a new medium, we probably have a book that can help you dive into it, or if you just want to read, we have that little library. So
that's so fun. And I guess before we go back, so you obviously have workshops, you have open time. Tell us, and camps, everything. Tell us all about that too.
So we have a lot going on in this tiny little space. The goal is that this is a place for everyone in the community, whether you are an aspiring artist, or you just are a creative person, or you just need something to do, or your kids love art. So we have a mix of structured and unstructured time where you can come do art. So the unstructured times we call open studio hours. We have kid-specific hours and creative flow hours, which are meant to be more calm. You know, we have the kids' time, we have the calm time. If your kid is calm, they can come to the calm time. But so those are unstructured. You come in, they're 2-hour sessions throughout the week, and it's $15. So with $15 for a 2-hour session, you can use almost any of our supplies. The only things that cost extra are clay and canvases. So that's really the main goal of the studio space. It's here, it's like a library. You can come in, just do your art. We'll have somebody here who can help you, give you inspiration if you want, but otherwise we'll just let you do your thing.
So fun.
In addition to that, we have structured activities, which are your classes, workshops. We have camps for kids. Whenever the city is off school, we'll try to do a camp. What else? We do private events, birthday parties, girls' night out.
Everything.
We're really flexible. It's whatever the need is, we'll make it happen. We had a request for a sewing night, and so I have a meeting later today to try and get a sewing night in the studio.
Do you already have a sewing machine here?
Yes,
oh,
I do.
Awesome.
We have 3, but 2 are broken, which is always the story with sewing machine.
That happens, right? That's so fun. Well, good for you for coming up with this idea. How did you think about having all of the mediums in one place? Because that's not really typical.
No,
usually,
it's definitely not. That's a good question. I think it started with my own tendency to get a little bit of everything. I love clay. I don't have access to a kiln at that time. So I would start dabbling with watercolors, or if I could fire my clay to bisque firing, but I didn't have glaze, you can decorate clay with watercolor. I started doing like therapeutic doodling sessions during the pandemic, and just all of these little bits and pieces, and I don't know, I just started acquiring this collection that kept growing of all of these bits and pieces, and then people started donating things, and so I think it really is like, there were a lot of people who during the pandemic, I think, started doing hobby. Like, I needed hobby, let me try some art, and go out and buy, like, it's a joke on social media, like, oh, I bought one night I decided I needed to buy everything I could ever need for knitting.
Yeah.
I knitted for a week and I was done. I have a lot of that stuff now in the studio.
Yeah.
And so next time you need a new hobby, just come to Art Easy
That is so
instead
great.
of buying it. So yeah.
Nice. And how did you name it Art Easy?
So I mentioned the first space was in a residential basement.
Yeah.
And I love puns, and the whole like purpose of the business was making art easy, both easy to access and also easy to like do self-expression, like
Sure.
convenient to come in and anyway.
Yeah.
So art easy, speak easy. So like an arty easy in the basement. That doesn't really have as much draw here because it's much more open,
Yeah.
but it is kind of tucked away in the back. You go through this hallway and get to the
Yeah.
art studio.
So fun.
And then yes, of course, the philosophy is still making it easy to just do art.
That's great. Nice. Well, thank you. It's all super exciting to hear and learn about. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that would love to get in here. So let's show them the back, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. It's so fun. I love it back here.
Yeah, I actually got all of the paint for the walls on Buy Nothing Baltimore.
Okay.
Somebody used to do furniture decorating or like refurbished furniture, and she would repaint it. And so she had lots of little quart jars of paint of various colors.
Yeah.
So she gave me all of them. That's why each wall is a different color.
That's awesome.
But I love it. It's so fun.
That's very appropriate for an art
Yeah.
studio. Like, yes, all the different, oh, it's so fun. Tell me about this.
So we have on Saturdays every other week Art Play Saturday, which is for really young artists, 2 to 4 years old.
Oh, perfect.
And we do something a little more free, art play, not like skills-based, mostly just experiencing the paint and the glitter and different textures. So that was one that we made over a couple of weeks with lots of different materials, and you'll see a potato masher. That's the texture that looks kind of like a waffle.
I see that.
So yeah.
That is so cute. And what do they call it?
They called it Our Universe.
Universe.
Yep.
So cute.
Very
Love it.
sweet.
So many fun things. So I'm sure these are all different people, kids, adults, or?
So these are
most
all
of these
actually examples made by our studio manager at the previous location.
Oh, awesome.
So these are her examples of things they did at camp.
Oh, fun.
So we hung them up on this little like gallery,
Yeah.
makeshift gallery, to be like an inspiration wall of really cool things you can create with just paper, watercolors, cardboard, really simple materials that we have in the studio. So it's a little bit of like a living database of art craft projects.
Yes. What do you find most people do when they come back here, especially during the open time?
Yeah, so we get a lot of people just don't really know what they want to do. So we have, one of the things I love to suggest is watercolor.
Okay.
I found somebody on social media who does these like amazing watercolor demos and instructions that I'll like forward to people. Social media actually has a lot of really great things, and no, they won't come out exactly as it looks, but the process is what you're doing it for anyway a lot of the time. So watercolor I'll suggest a lot of the time. Kids just love our kids closet, which we can look at later, but they have access to grab the materials that they want. We have little bowls that they can use as shopping carts or shopping baskets, get all the pom-poms, buttons, feathers, and then take it back to their station and go crazy with the glue. So lots of cool things being made that way. But I also have this little kind of binder, which I'm going to continue building in. This first section is how to make a coil pot with clay. So that's something that is really accessible step by step. It makes a lot of sense, and you can really walk yourself through making a coil pot. I think a lot of time people think coil pots look like a coil, but it's actually just a method to building, and then you smooth it over, and it doesn't, you can't even tell it's made out of coil. Yeah. I've made like a 2-foot tall sculpture out of coils. Wow. So like you can do cool things with coils.
That's awesome.
And this will give you the basics. And then I have simple watercolor techniques for beginners, and then some acrylic painting techniques. And then in the front I have just some general, I did it for Valentine's Day, so there's some Valentine's Day crafts. So we'll continue adding to it some toilet paper tube activities for kids or adults. You're never too old to make a toilet paper tube monster.
Nope, definitely not.
So yeah, this binder will continue to grow. So I think the biggest barrier people have to like going to an art studio to just do art is like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be the Mona Lisa or anything that you want to put in the storefront.
Yeah.
Literally, you can just make something and then you might recycle it and that's okay.
Yeah.
Or you might love it and it might start a new passion and it can go from there.
Yeah. And I think just like you said, the process and like mindfulness and being able to be calm and relax, and hopefully it relaxes people, right? More than, I don't know what I'm doing.
It can be stressful. But, and that's another, goal of here is that we have the studio attendants, all of our studio attendants or studio managers or the staff that are going to be here are really encouraging.
Good.
They're never going to make you feel like, oh, why are you even here? Like that is never what we want here.
Yeah.
It's always a friendly environment. Like, let's just make crafts and laugh and feel better when we leave the studio.
Oh, I'm sure a lot of people leave feeling really happy. Yeah. That's awesome.
That's the hope.
Yes, absolutely. Well, anything you'd want to show us how you do?
I was thinking we could do some clay decorating.
Okay.
I made these out of the leftover clay from a sculpt class that we had, and they've just been sitting. They're not dry, and they need some decoration, so we could do that.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And we could do lace texture. I have a doily.
Fun.
Some really thin, fine lace, and then this like thicker pattern. Which one would you like?
Oh, I might go with the thin one.
Yeah,
I feel like on the small one it'll be better.
Recently, and I liked it a lot.
Awesome.
All right, so then you just kind of lay it on top.
Okay.
And like kind of push it in with your fingers, but you don't have to push too hard. You just kind of want to make sure
it's staying
got the space. And then you take one of these. I'll give you the small one. And basically, you just kind of rub into the surface, and you're just pushing, basically like smoothing the lace into the clay.
Nice.
A really easy and satisfying way to get complicated texture without carving it.
A little bit more water?
Yeah. Ideally, you do this when they were a little bit wetter.
Yeah.
But it should work.
I feel like I talk all day. This is such a nice activity. You just like be in peace.
It really, really is. When I do clay, it's like exercise in a way where it's like you're doing something that is so engaging in another way that your mind just kind of is left to wander.
Yeah.
It is very meditative.
Yeah.
I love it. Clay really has been a game changer for my mental health in general, and just.
So when you were at that art studio, how did you find clay? Was it just somebody introduced you to it, or you just kind of had to be around it?
So we had wheels there. We had 6 wheels. And of course, like that's the big thing. When you think pottery, you think pottery wheel. It's so cool. It's hypnotizing. You just like go whoop, and then you have a beautiful vase. Yeah. So of course I wanted to try. My first shift, one of my colleagues, she was like, "Do you want to try that pottery wheel?" Because it was pretty empty. I was like, "Of course." Yeah. It was fun. I kept going, dabbling in it. I was never like really great at it, but it was, a fun thing to do, and I really liked the clay. And I, growing up, loved mud. So clay was like, I was the one making things in mud. Yep. So clay was really, it made sense. And then I studied abroad in Ireland and joined a studio there where I did like, this guy did production clay, where he just like made dish sets for restaurants. So I got to learn from him on like replicating shapes and like making, measuring the clay, weighing it ahead of time, like really precise. And I hated it. Yeah. The class was awesome. I really loved the studio. I got to try really cool pottery wheels, like a foot cranked one. You're standing and you crank the wheel with your foot. Yeah. So it's mechanical instead of electric. Anyway, loved the class, decided the wheel was not for me. Yeah. So later in my college, I studied abroad in South Africa, and I joined a studio there for 16 weeks that was hand building. It was all hand building. And that's where I found sculpting. I never tried sculpting before that. Yeah. And I wish I still had this woman's phone number so I could tell her like how much that influenced me, because that's where I made my coil pot this tall. It's a bust with a really long neck.
Cool.
I still have it in my house, but
oh my gosh.
that was it. Yeah.
All the way from South Africa.
Yep. And I bought a suitcase for that sculpture so I could bring it home, a hard shell suitcase.
That is so nice. Wow, what a great reminder of that trip too, and like where it all began.
Yes, yeah.
That is so cool. Thank you for sharing.
All right.
How am I doing?
I think good.
Do I need to go like more in some areas?
I think it'll be pretty cool.
Okay.
Mine is a little
thicker.
I don't know. We
like
don't know how this is going to go with mine, but I think they will be cool. Okay.
Okay.
You want to peel it off and reveal?
Oh gosh. I'm like, is it even going to make a difference?
No, I think it's there.
Oh. Okay.
Very cool.
Some spots look better than others.
Yeah. No, it's beautiful. Look at that. You just got to look at it in the light.
Yep. That's really neat. Cool. Thanks. All right.
I will fire it and then you can come back and glaze it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, mine is really subtle, but it is kind of cool.
Oh yeah, that looks really neat. I like it.
You can also do this with paint or glaze on a bowl. So I'm going to start stocking pre-fired ceramics.
Yeah.
So like, you know, where you can go and just glaze it. It's already been made. And you can do this with lace on a bowl. So if you cover the bowl with the lace and then paint over it with the glaze.
Cool.
So it's also, you can use doilies for so many things. So if you're got a lot of your grandma's doilies and you want to repurpose them, this is a good way.
I don't know if I have any doilies, so I'll have to use yours.
No, my great grandmother,
she made a lot of them.
Oh my gosh, hundreds of doilies.
Like, does she make these?
I don't know about this one, but a lot of them, yes.
Wow, that's also another
crocheting,
really cool touch. Really nice. Oh, so fun. Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, I guess where can people find you and learn about your like studio time and all those things?
Yes. So our most up-to-date day-to-day is Instagram.
Okay.
At Art Easy Studio, all squished together. I was trying to revive our old TikTok, but we couldn't get access, so I just opened a new TikTok.
Okay.
arteasy.studio.
Okay.
But our old one is still out there. I'm gonna do some like throwback cross posts because it's cool to see where we started.
Yeah.
And then our Instagram post to Facebook, so we're on Facebook as well.
Okay.
We have a page there. And then our website is where you sign up for everything.
Okay, got it.
Which is www.arteasystudio.com.
Nice.
And
cool. I think so many people are going to really enjoy this. I can't wait to bring the boys back. It's going to be just a good time, and they love art, they love to paint and do all the things, so we're going to come do some fun things. Yeah, that'll be awesome. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, this is so exciting. Can't wait for everybody to see what your studio is all about. So
me too.
Thank you. Of course. Well, hopefully we'll see you all soon. Thanks.
Bye.